Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. The local organising committee for the CARIFTA Games was on Wednesday presented with a sponsorship check by telecommunication giant Digicel in the sum of 12 million Jamaican dollars or approximately $76,000. The games, which were last held in 2019, will be staged at the National Stadium in Kingston from April 16 to the 18. So, George and Lance, of course, you know, CARIFTA Games back in Jamaica. We've been waiting on this for some time. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic have, you know, stalled the games from occurring. So it's a sigh of relief that we're getting to see the best in action again. Yeah,
two things I'll say. One, it's good to see, I'm joining the statement that you just made. And I'm saying as well that nobody, no company in the class of Digicel can and has, over the time that they've been in Jamaica, managed to pick winners like Digicel. Digicel's record of picking winners is unparalleled. And so it's good to see the company aligning itself with the CARIFTA Games in this big way. $12 million is not chicken feed in this context and in these times. And, you know, I'm wondering now if it is that Digicel picks winners, or is it that Digicel picks causes, and because of the association with Digicel and what it brings, they turn into winners. Whichever way it is, whatever Digicel aligns itself with is always successful. And I'm certain that the CARIFTA Games organizers are jumping for joy, if they haven't done so already, and are now living in the afterglow of the joy which they jumped, that a company of the repute of Digicel is aligning itself with the brand and by extension, the SportsMax production team. Yeah, Lance, of course, a huge sum of money that will assist the CARIFTA Games. What are you looking forward to?
Well, the CARIFTA Games is a very special event. It is the platform that quite often introduces, you know, future world stars to the global track and field community. You name the Olympic and World Championship gold medalists and medalists from the Caribbean, and pretty much all of them have come through the CARIFTA Games. Veronica Campbell-Brown, Usain Bolt outside of Jamaica, you have Kirani James, and many others. The Trinidadians were also strong, Darrell Brown and so on. So it's a meet that, and Shawnee Miller-Weibo, I should say, for the Bahamians. So it's a meet that really showcases the best teenage talent in Caribbean track and field. And Digicel is aligning itself to a product that has been for many, many decades the showpiece of track and field in the Caribbean, at least for the juniors. Yeah, and Digicel, of course, recognizing the fact that it is very important to invest in the youths and in the futures. So kudos to them, and of course, we all know the work that they've been doing when it comes to sports all across the globe. They've been, you know, investing and doing as much as they can. Well, as we continue, Digicel's brand marketing manager, Reshima Kelly-Williams, spoke glowingly about Digicel's sponsorship of the event.
The CARIFTA Games holds a fine tradition of unleashing the fastest and the finest track and field talents in the region. And Digicel, a company committed to moving our young talents from grassroots to greatness, is exceedingly proud to playing a major role in bringing all the excitement to the people. Through SportsMax, the Caribbean's leading sports app and sports broadcaster, we will deliver all the amazing Kingston CARIFTA action to all corners of the region, featuring expert commentary and analysis. To ensure that Digicel customers across the Caribbean gets to enjoy Kingston CARIFTA 2022, we recently invested over $60 million, which is approximately Jamaican $9 billion, to make additional improvements to our sophisticated LTE and fiber to the home network. This enables our viewers of SportsMax TV and the SportsMax app to experience all the action in high definition from the comfort of their homes, on their smartphones, while on the go.
Well, it's brilliant to hear that we'll also be involved via the SportsMax app, George and Lance. Big amount of money being invested, and of course, a great partnership with CARIFTA Games.
Yeah, the fact of the sponsorship, as we've said, is significant. And, you know, the corporate Jamaica has a strong role to play in building the country, always has, always will. And as the country grapples with a crime and violence problem, I'm not just talking about homicides, I'm just talking about crime and lawlessness and a disregard for the rule of law. it is that corporate Jamaica needs to do even more. So the citizenry, which corporate Jamaica is a part of, calls on the government to do more. But it is incumbent upon corporate Jamaica to do more to assist in building the next generation. And so Digicel has shown that commitment by virtue of this sponsorship support. The SportsMax production team is the best in the Caribbean again. So Digicel is Digicel is availing the CARIFTA Games organizers of the best platform to put their product out to the rest of the Caribbean, and it's a win-win. The CARIFTA Games organizers, I'm sure, very, very happy, and yeah, they've signed up with the winning team.
Yeah, and Lance, maybe you can touch on this point, because George, he spoke also about the importance of the interest in Digicel in CARIFTA Games. We spoke about SportsMax involvement as well. No spectators as yet, but I did read an article where the sport minister, Olivia Bobsey-Grange, said she's not shutting the doors on that yet because, they are in discussions, and I think if the fans are allowed to, it will just add to the attraction of the event.
Yeah, the CARIFTA Games without fans would be a bit of a letdown. And based on the government's approach to track and field in this COVID-19 period, there is hope stroke anticipation that they may allow fans. It hasn't been confirmed, but there is a popular Gibson release coming up later this month that the government has already given the green light for 10,000 fans. So, from that, in theory, I would expect that with the same approach from the organizers, protocols and their approach to making the event as sterile and as safe as possible, I think the chances are good for some level of fan turnout or fan attendance for the CARIFTA Games.
Well, George, you have your ear close to the ground when these things are concerned.
I suspect, based on what I've been hearing, what I've been picking up, that she will assent to a limited number of spectators. But it is important to state that the government and the authorities, the government and the stakeholders, which are all government agencies. So you're talking about ODPEM, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development, the Ministry of Sport and the Ministry of Health, all collaborating closely to approve these things or to consider these things for approval. What is true is that all of them were burnt by the experience of those 5,000 spectators at that Reggae Boys game. You were there working.
Yeah.
Reggae Boys against the USA World Cup qualifier, and how poor the stewarding was, how poor the enforcement of the protocols were, and that set back other events of that kind which needed spectator support. Indeed, my sources say it set back and perhaps scuppered the chances of the Reggae Boys getting fans for the subsequent games they played. So, and again, remember, the most important thing is, in this pandemic, nobody has ever done these things before, managing in a pandemic like that. So you want to ensure that there's nothing that causes the kind of community spread which will put your hospitals in trouble. So from that experience of the poor stewarding and everything, they were not very willing to cede on the point of allowing limited numbers of spectators for certain events.
Just to touch on that, because I was there.
Yes.
I didn't experience that, though. They were very, very strict at the games, actually. And to be honest, they had lines on every seat, right? And I accidentally sat on a seat that didn't have a mark. And they were literally and they were strong about it. They were like, move to the other seat, because I really didn't notice that they...
Yeah.
So that kind of comes to me as a surprise, because they were very strict with managing the
that I had cause, and another hat I wear, to be mediating in a dispute involving the recent ODI series between Ireland and the West Indies, and there was a big issue about the admission of fans to Sabina Park. So I found myself having to be pulling both sides together and talking high level with some of the people involved, and this was one of the reasons adumbrated in the communication to the local authority here, the Jamaica Cricket Association, and involved in the talks with the Cricket West Indies, and from the local authorities who I just named, as to the reason, one of the reasons why they were not willing at that time to allow spectators.
All right, well, we're going to continue now, and the chairman of the local organizing committee, Mike Fennell, commended Digicel for their continued support of track and field.
This is undoubtedly a major contribution, not just the amount, but it's major. Why? We have a very short time to do things that people normally do in 2 years. And the normal process of presentations to sponsors and so on. But Digicel accepted the conditions, accepted the story, and unhesitatingly came on board. This is the importance of it. It's not normal times, and therefore people have to take risks. We could not guarantee all the conditions that will exist in April, and Digicel understands that. So they are also operating with a level of uncertainty, but they know that we need to press ahead and have come forward with this, and that plus the government's commitment will ensure us to proceed with confidence.
And that point there that he spoke about, we really are living in unprecedented times. But Digicel, they've continued to invest in different sports, without even thinking twice. And I think that's what I like the most about this entire venture, George. It's hard time, it's tough times, yet every time I read a story, Digicel is signing with some sporting companies, and they have taken a key interest in ensuring that despite the pandemic, people still get to go about having a bit of fun doing what they love.
Yeah, I'll say this finally, Lance, Mariah. Because of COVID and because so many things that were scheduled to happen did not happen, that in normal times you'd spend and keep your powder dry so you have spending capacity to cover certain things.
Yes.
So because of COVID, Digicel's powder probably is extra dry. So, there is powder to commit to events like these, but brilliant on the company to be supporting in this way once again.
We should also highlight the fact that because it's a return from 2 years of not being staged, heightens the excitement and the sort of anxiety for not only organizers but certainly the competitors, because I think 2020 was pretty obvious that the CARIFTA Games would not have been staged. But last year, 2021, Bermuda were on the verge of staging the games, and there were issues with their health authorities and so on about quarantine period and athletes coming in and so on. So that scuppered the chance of having the CARIFTA Games in 2021. So having not had the games in 2020, which was completely understandable, not having the games in 2021, which was a little contentious for the proposed host Bermuda, great for everyone that after 2 years of no CARIFTA Games, the event is back again this year.
Finally back, and with the CARIFTA Games approximately 2 months away, the president of the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association, Garth Gale, says Jamaica's athletes have already set their sights on the upcoming CARIFTA trial.
Our CARIFTA Games trials will be held March 11 to 13 at the National Stadium. It will be the event to select our national team for the CARIFTA Games. Already I've been speaking with coaches, and the coaches are excited, they're happy, and barring any unforeseen challenge, which we don't want for any of our athletes, because this is a very important year also for both juniors and senior athletes, but we're speaking to the CARIFTA Games, and so they are ready, and it will be a prelude to what's going to happen both at Boys and Girls Championships as well as World Junior Championships later in the year.
All right, so 2 more trials left until the CARIFTA Games. The athletes would want to ensure that they do everything right to walk away with the top prize.
Yeah, I can tell you that the training, from my information, at several of the top high schools, and I only say the top high schools because those are the ones that we've seen. Don't know what happens at the other high schools. Good afternoon to the athletes at Jonathan Grant High School. It must be a top high school, I'm just saying. So here's the thing though. Look, your school is in Trinidad and Tobago. Be still, okay? Good. Right. So I respect to all ones. The thing is, Lance, when I went to Stets for schoolboy football games this season,
yes.
After every game, I look back at what for the footballers would be the warm-up field.
Yeah.
And the Stets girls, especially the girls, were already out there in full training, and that was from several weeks ago. So with that and the reports from other high schools is that the training for the track and field season was not delayed. It was going on even amid COVID protocols and everything else. So I think by the time CARIFTA trials come, the leading lights will be ready to take their place in their respective disciplines.
Yeah, so we know in Jamaica, based on what I've seen, they don't take track and field lightly at all. So I'm not even shocked that training has begun despite what's taking place.
It's Ricardo Chambers' season.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's on vacation. He'll be back in time. We take a quick break and come back.